Walk 15, Blackwell Trail. Early afternoon on the 24th of November. Our friend Mitch and I are sat in my living room, drinking coffee and having a chat. During the conversation we both agree that to wander along one of our local trails would be a good idea, as the weather's okay and it'll kill a few hours. But unfortunately we've only a couple of hours left before dark, so one of the short strolls is the obvious choice. As it is only a few miles long, we've opted for the Blackwell Trail, another trail that uses the bed of past railway lines between former collieries. Neither of us have walked it yet, so we've decided to check it out. A half hour later, after the basic preparations have been made and a short drive to our start point on Fordbridge Lane between Blackwell and South Normanton, we're opening the hatchback to release our four-legged companion, but have to grab his lead before he jumps out and starts to run around on the road, which at times can be very busy. I lock up the trekkmobile as Mitch attempts to control No Names on the lead as we cross the road to the start point. No Names insists on dragging Mitch about, who's supposed to be taking who for a walk, until he can be released, as I take my first photographs. A few minutes later, and away from the road, No Names is released to go about his own way, and instantly does just that as he scampers away, sniffing everything and cocking his leg on most. The first thing I notice is that the surface is good and solid and the route flat. The first prominent habitat we find is lots of marshy land on both sides of the trail, so it's best to keep out of this and stay on the main trail for safety. However, 5 or so minutes later we're leaving these marshy areas behind as the trail becomes a nice surface track bordered by a variety of trees. Soon we are passing along the nearest point on the trail to Blackwell Church, which sits proudly on its commanding hilltop location about a third of a mile to our left. Another path crosses the trail at this point, coming from the direction of South Normanton to our right, and continuing on over a small footbridge below us before scaling the hill up to Blackwell Church. The footbridge down to our left that carries the footpath later proves to be one of many along this route. Soon the tranquility and peace is shattered as we pass under the M1 motorway to exit left of the sewage works as the surroundings become more industrial rather than rural. This is part of a large industrial estate to the south of Hilcote, straddling both sides of the B6406 that allows access to this estate from the main A38 trunk road before passing through the more peaceful Derbyshire village of Hilcote, or Hilcote, to exit onto the B6026 between Blackwell and Huthwaite. We've just passed under the B6406 just 10 minutes after passing under the motorway, and the land has opened out into a very pleasant recreation area at the south end of Hilcote village, known as Waterside Way, containing recreational grassland, picnic benches, and a wonderful little garden containing a bench, several propagated herbaceous plants, and a delightful wooden pergola. Such a contrast from the industrial area to the other side of the bridge we've just passed under. From here onwards the trail surroundings have become much more rural. We go by open fields and woodlands in the direction of Huthwaite. The sun is beginning its descent, so we must crack on to reach the end before dark and not being able to see what's around. The scenery, however, is much more pleasing to the eye, and a few pleasant sunset shots ensue before we finally reach a change of scenery again about 3/4 of a mile after Waterside Way. Obviously the end of the route is close, as the rural beauty is replaced by rugged industry once again. The trail ends rather abruptly at a gate onto a road through the large industrial estate straddling the B6027 common road between Huthwaite and Fulwood to the north of the A38 trunk road from Mansfield to Derby, and passing through junction 28 of the M1 motorway. By now it is starting to get too dark to take any more photographs, and we set off back the way we came, completing the last mile in total darkness before jumping back into the trekkmobile and driving home for our cuppers. The Blackwell Trail has taken us only 2 hours to walk its length twice, once in each direction, and is a good multi-use route which crosses the boundary of Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire that all could discover with just a couple of hours to play with. What's more, it's flat with no hills on the trail itself, so that's a bonus to some users. The trail is still rather young by comparison to many others in the area and needs to mature somewhat yet, although parts of it are more mature than others, but it's only a matter of time. Verdict? Well, we enjoyed it.